Good morning and welcome back to my channel. This video is talking about my journey. It's a very open and honest video about how I got to this very moment. And for me, I felt like I was always good with money. I mean, when I say that, I mean I didn't borrow money from anyone. I never owed people money, and I was always able to pay my bills. So I thought I was doing, I thought I was doing the thing. I was handling my business. But in 2011, I had a car accident. And I remember this like it happened yesterday because in that moment, after all is said and done, I think I grew up. I woke up and something changed in me. So, 2011, I am driving to Howard University Hospital because I'm a registered nurse, and I am on the highway. I swerve. I'm changing lanes, but someone cuts me off. So then I swerve and I got in a car accident. Luckily, I was fine, but my car hit the I think it's called the guardrail, the middle. My car spun around and basically it was totaled. Okay, this happened on a Thursday. I was supposed to work the Friday. I was off the weekend and had to go back to work the Monday. So I needed a car. I lived in Germantown, and it's about an hour drive. Well, for me it is. For others, it might take you 30 minutes or 45 minutes. But I needed a car. So my husband, who was then my boyfriend, he worked at a dealership. So, and he's really good with cars. So he found me the perfect car. Again, these things are etched in your memory. So it was a 2007 Scion TC, white, tinted. Love that car. Anyway, I saw the car. I loved it. I wanted the car. So I sat in the office of the finance manager. Again, this was going to be my very first purchase. I hadn't owned anything in my name. So I was really excited. I sat with the finance manager. She pulled my credit. I guess initially they tried to get me a loan through the dealership, but my credit was so bad, I didn't qualify. So she tried a couple of things, unbeknownst to me. So I'm just sitting there, and she has to wait for the responses. So every time she got a response, I could see her like, and I didn't know what was going on. So she started making phone calls, right? And that's when I was like, wow. As I'm sitting in the office with her, she is calling in favors from everybody. I mean, every bank, any of her contacts, she's calling in this favor. She's going above and beyond because my boyfriend, again, told her that if I didn't get financing, he was going to co-sign for the car. And I don't know if you've ever been in that position, but they knew enough to know this was a dangerous path. We weren't married at that time. So if you co-sign for someone on a car, you're really assuming the risk of ownership of that car if the person defaults. So she was doing everything in her power not to have him co-sign for this car. Mind you, this car was $10,000. So I'm sitting in the office with her, and I hear her. She finally calls one of her contacts at Capital One Bank, and this is how the conversation goes. Yes, I know her credit is crap, but she makes money. She made 90K. Yes, I know she's at risk. I know, please. And then they talk and they laugh, and she hangs up the phone and she says, congratulations, you got approved. Your interest rate is 12%, right? Again, I'm excited because I got approved, but I was sitting in that office and listening to this lady beg creditors to give me a loan for $10,000 when I made over $90,000 the year before. I was working 2 jobs. I did the hospital, and then I picked up home health. So again, I thought I was thriving, right? But I had to sit and listen to this lady beg on my behalf because I didn't have money. I had nothing to my name. Nothing. 90K and nothing to show for it. And B, my credit sucked. The only thing on my credit at that time was my student loans, which was automatically debited out of my account. So I don't even understand how I could have a bad credit score if you're taking your money out on time every month. So I I have never been so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. So because again, because my boyfriend was working there, people were popping there, hey, how's it going? How's it going? She's like, like she's making faces with them. And I'm just literally absorbing everything, sitting here like, wow. So when she finally said I was approved, right? But she said, you have to scrape up as much money as you can to put down. And I said, okay. So I called my mother and I said, Ma, can I get some money? And she's like, this is not like, I don't have that kind of money. So then I called my brother, my oldest brother, and I said, hey, can I get some money? And he said, can you wait till payday, which was the week after? And I said, no, not really. I have to go to work on Monday. So I remember the only money I had was $2,500 in a CD account, right? So I went there and I cashed that out. I paid the penalty, took the money out, and my boyfriend gave me $1,000. So I had $3,500 to put on the car. Now, with all the finance and everything, I think I walked out of there with paying exactly like either $9,000 and some change or $10,000. So why am I telling you all of this? I woke up. I really did. I thought I was doing fine. I was investing in my 401k. I was working. I was living at home. So it's not like I had a mortgage, a rent, any of that to pay. So I was not intentional about my money. I honestly woke up. On paper, it said I made 90K. And I'm sitting there like, I absolutely have nothing to show for it. So I took 2 things from that experience. The first thing I took was I never, ever want to feel that way again. I never want to be such a liability that even as little as $10,000, I wasn't even worth the risk. And secondly, as much as my family would give me an arm and a leg, they were not in a financial position to help me out in the moment when I needed it. So again, it's not like I'm holding anything against them. I just woke up. I realized I have to be in a better position. I can't depend on anyone because they have their own stuff going on. I have to get my stuff together. Okay, I was gonna say the other word. I have to get my stuff together. I do. So what I did the very next day after this car, I pulled up my credit report. I needed to know what was on that credit report that made me such a bad investment that several creditors turned me down. Okay, so I got started. I started educating myself on my credit. I started figuring out what I needed to do to get out of debt because I don't ever want to be in that position. So if that is something you are feeling, if you have been declined for anything, it can be as as little as a, retail credit card. It's a sign when they decline you. It does something to you. It tells you you're not worth it, right? So then you have to figure out, what is it I am doing? I knew I wanted kids. I knew I wanted a house. I knew that the older I got, the more responsibilities I would have, right? So, if I can barely get it together when I'm living at home, 26, in my prime, working 2 jobs, and making 90K, I had a problem. So I used that moment to change the trajectory of things. I decided I was going to do something about it because I don't want to be a liability. I don't want to be a liability on my family. I don't want it for my kids. And I also want to be able to teach my kids how to handle money differently. So I thank you for watching. I just said never again. So I hope you come to a point where you have a never again moment, because it was the best decision. It was the best thing that could have happened to me, because it changed the course of things for me. Okay, I'm not where I want to be financially. Eventually I want to pay off my house and be balling, but I'm also not where I used to be. So I just want to say thank you for watching. You have yourself a wonderful day.